Yes, guys, I'm sorry. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Excuse the sunglasses. I can't see without them. It is what it is. My glasses are broke. So, this is the Spotlight episode number 2. Callum Robinson. Is he about to tear it up in League One? Or is it time to shake hands and part ways? Right then, let's talk about it. Look, Callum Robinson, he's a player on his day. He's arguably the best finisher at the football club for a start. He's a player who scored goals at Championship level, League One level. He's Republic of Ireland international. He's done it with pride, and yet here we are questioning whether he can still do it for Cardiff City, whether he should do it for Cardiff City. Now, some people will say, no, that's you who's doing it. But I know I'm not the only one. I read the comments, I read social media. Some people want to keep him, some people think he should go. He's someone you can get money for, it makes a lot of sense to sell him, blah, blah. Why? Well, because football isn't played on paper. And with Callum Robinson, the gap between that potential and that consistency, it can be quite frustrating at times. He can be electric, dangerous, direct, a goal threat, a cutting edge, all of those things. But when he's not firing, he fades, he drifts, and suddenly you're wondering what he's offering to the team. Lack of press, lack of pace, lack of build-up, lack of effort on the pitch. And then there's rumours in the dressing room that when things get tough, he's not one of the ones who's going to dig in and get everyone to go. However, I will say last season, I heard at the start of the season he was much, much better. So you've got to go with that. So today we're going to have a little look and we're going to discuss, put him under the spotlight as it were. Is Callum Robinson about to tear it up in League One? Is it time to move on? So, first and foremost, let's start with the highs. He's a natural finisher, a dangerous runner. Let's start with the best version of Callum Robinson, because when he's on it, his box office, like at his best, when he played as number 9 for us last season, running in the channels, running in behind, we were at our best and he was at his best. When he gets a bit devoid of confidence, he's not in one of his scoring streaks, he offers very little, in my opinion. So let's look at the sharpness in front of goal. Across his career, he's averaged just under 0.35 goals per 90 minutes in the Championship. And even higher during his spells with West Brom. So, look, when he's fully fit, he's a clean striker of the ball, a good finisher, instinctive, for good angles. All the things you're looking for from someone who's going to be in those one-on-one situations, especially when cutting in from the left, operating centrally on the shoulder of the last defender. He does it all well. In the 22-23 season, his shot on target percentage was 44%, which was the best in the Cardiff squad. His non-penalty XG per 90 minutes per FB ref sat at around 0.30. Respectable. In a not great team. Certainly a team which was struggling to score. When he ran the channels, when he stretched defence, when he created that space for others, especially when we used a kind of 4-2-3-1 under Rhys and Bullet, with him as the central forward, we looked at our best. He also has a bit of flair about him. The back heels, the clever movement, the disguised finishes. He's not just a goal scorer. He can be a creator too. But make no mistake, like, the talent is there. The technical quality is there. The experience is there. But there are lows. Build up, pressure, off days, confidence, streaks. Let's talk about it. When Callum Robinson's not scoring, the drop-off in his game is noticeable. In a league like League One, where it's relentless, it's physical, it's unforgiving, that could be a problem. Let's talk about the pressing. If you look at Y-Scout, Robinson's defensive duels per 90 minutes dropped from 5.7 in 21-22 to 3.2 in 23-24. His presses, his PPDA contribution, pressures per defensive action, have been among the lowest of City's forward line in recent years. And simply put, if you want a high press, it's probably not his game. In terms of linking up the play, his progressive passes per 90 dropped significantly last season, while his passes into the final third remain modest at best, suggesting that when he's not the end product, he does struggle to make an impact. The phases before the finish. There were games last season, especially, the back end of 23-24 and last season, where he looked to isolate, he looked to yard the pace, he looked to drop deep, and then that front line lost all shape. When that happens, the team suffers. He, as I've said many times, when he was the guy running the channels, running in behind, great. When he wasn't, not so much. He was a bit of an issue. Now, do I ultimately think he can do it? I do. I think he can be the guy. But at some point, with inconsistent players, you have to cut ties and you have to say, right, we're giving you an opportunity. Maybe we're not the right team for you. Just as an example. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but we have to discuss it. So let's look at it, why he could be positionally lost. Is it number 9? Is it should he be playing a bit deeper? Because you've got Yusuf Salic as well. And this is the tactical crux of it all. What is his best position? What's Callum Robinson's best position? He's played as a 9, he's played as a second striker, a left winger, a number 10, and occasionally off the right. But the best version of Callum Robinson for me, the one that really hurts teams, is the one on the shoulder, the run in the channels, the exploiting the space, the attack in the box, the creating space for others. When he plays as a true number 9 in that counter-attacking setup, he can thrive. But when he drops into those deeper roles, that's when he suffers. The pitch becomes congested, he's under much more pressure, there's no focal point ahead of him, and City end up with 3 or 4 players in the same zone, whether that's Ruben, Ashford, Robinson. It's congested, to say the least. You need, if he's going to drop in, you've got to have runners beyond. It's not all on him. You need runners beyond. And footballers need to have the IQ that if he's dropping in, I need to run behind. They can't all receive it in the same area. They can't all receive it to feet. It stifles the rhythm of the individual, and it stifles the rhythm of the team, and it makes the team completely toothless up front. Brian Barry Murphy's structure relies on fluid movement, smart positional play, technically and tactically smart positional play as well. And while Robinson does have the football IQ to float between roles, between positions, the question is, can he be disciplined enough to maintain balance when not involved directly? So let's talk about the mentality. From a heart-to-heart to quiet moments. One big positive, and it's worth praising him for this, is that Callum Robinson's attitude improved massively last season. He had a heart-to-heart with a manager at the end of the 23-24 season. And there was a big difference. Sources around the club as well said that shift was needed, but there was definitely there. He trained harder, he stayed fit, he stayed engaged, supported the other teammates, etc., and showed much more emotional maturity off the pitch at the start of the season. And it was noticeable in his form. But when things started to go wrong, and things started to go against City, to me at least, he didn't always grab the moment. And that's not to say he lacks leadership or anything like that, but you'd hope with his experience, his profile, that he'd have taken a bit more responsibility within the group to try and help halt the club's slide towards relegation. Because he is a senior voice in that dressing room. He is a senior player in that dressing room. And when the chips are down, when the team needed a leader or a big moment, did he step up enough? Or did he kind of just drift through the end of the season and the middle of the season? And there's maybe a reason for that. Maybe it's a fitness thing. And on that, let's discuss the fitness concern. Can he stay on the pitch and play for the full season? And I wanted to really have a look at this because it's a bit of an elephant in the room. When you talk about value, availability matters. Availability is the best ability. Across 22, 23, 24, 24 and 25, Robinson has missed a staggering number of games through injury. When you look on Transfermark, 22-23 missed 19 games due to hamstring and calf problems. 23-24 missed 15 matches, reoccurring issues again. And then 24-25 missed nearly 3 months. You're talking at least a third of the season. Every season you don't have him available. In total, he's missed over 45 competitive fixtures across the last 3 seasons. That's the equivalent of a whole season. It's a major concern. Not just for the squad planning, but because Robinson's so reliant on scoring streaks and sharpness and rhythm, explosive speed. You can't build form, you can't build a team around him, and he can't build form or rhythm when he's constantly missing that amount of time. So I mentioned Transfermark then. Let's do a bit of a deep dive on Callum Robinson. FBref, Wisecout, Transfermark. Let's run through the numbers and give us a nice round picture of his sort of last couple of seasons. Per 90 minutes via FBref for 23-24 championship season. Goals per 90, 0.22. XG per 90, 0.28. Shots on target percentage, 41. Assists per 90, 0.14. Key passes per 90, 1.03. Progressive carries per 90, 2.94. Pressures in the final third per 90, 3.7. And then defensive actions per 90, low percentile. So he's the bottom 15% of forwards who do defensive work. Injury summary via Transfermark for 22-23 to 24-25. 45 plus games missed, multiple reoccurrences of hamstring and thigh injuries, 0 uninterrupted seasons of fitness. That paints a picture. Quality in flashes, but ultimately it's hard to sustain it across a full season. Let's have a look at League One, the perfect platform for him, or have we got to the point now where it's a step too far? I mean, let's flip it, right? Could League One actually suit Callum Robinson? On paper, yeah. He'd be one of the most technically gifted attackers in the league. He could exploit higher lines. He could punish unorganised defences. He can find joy against slower centre-backs. In games where Cardiff dominate the ball, as we should do, he can operate between the lines. He can, in transition-based games, he's going to be really suited to that. He can run the channels, he can find the half spaces, and he can get in and on the keeper. He can utilise playing on the shoulder. In a league with a lower average defensive organisation, a clinical finisher like him could be gold dust. But only if he's fit, only if he's firing, only if he's happy, and only if he's tactically disciplined enough to avoid crowding out the space for the likes of Ruben Colwell, Alex Robertson, Kean Ashford, Yusuf Salic, and so on. So yeah, League One could be the platform for Callum Robinson. But only if we see the real Callum Robinson fit, firing and consistent. Weekly. I mentioned earlier, he's a senior pro, senior voice in the dressing room. So let's put that expectation versus the reality. Let's be honest, when you look back and you look around the Cardiff dressing room, especially after the departures of Joe Ralls, Aaron Ramsey, Callum O'Dowda. You need some experience in there. You need some experienced attackers to set the tone, to lead. Callum Robinson at 29, with over 300 professional appearances, should be exactly what we need. But last season, did he do that? Really? The senior pros, they didn't do enough. We've said that many times. That's a shared criticism, but I think it's a fair criticism. From someone of Robinson's profile, I think it was fair to expect more. More goals, more presence, more control, more clutch moments when we needed him. That doesn't mean he's a bad influence, by the way. Far from it, I'm not saying that. But is he the guy that Brian Barry Murphy can build his forward unit around? That remains to be seen. And then lastly, let's take a look at the financial realities that the club is in. Big wages, big expectations. Here's the harsh truth, right? Cardiff are in League One. We're operating under a tight financial constraint. Callum Robinson is reportedly one of the higher earners in the squad. Post-relegation, every pound counts. Every contract has got to deliver value, and goals in this division are priceless. That's why the forwards get paid the big bucks. So the question becomes, does Callum Robinson, with his injury record and his inconsistency, does he represent value for money when you put his contract up against the results? If you back him to stay fit, you might argue that he's worth the investment, because 12, 13 goals at League One next year could propel Cardiff into the top 6. If he breaks down again, if he has another dry spell, if you're left with a major wage occupying a key squad spot, you could have a player on the bench who's earning big bucks. Remember, Brian Barry Murphy may want to bring in his own players who fit his pressing, high-tempo style. Does Robinson align with that vision? It's a football decision always. But you always have to look at the financial side of it. And when we kind of round up, is it a gamble worth taking? Or is it not worth the risk? Where does this all leave us? Is Callum Robinson about to light it up in League One? Or is it time for Cardiff and Robbo to part ways, shake hands and say thank you and move on? The case for keeping him. Well, he's a proven finisher. He's got top level experience, sharp mentality. If you can get him back to his best, and the potential to thrive in a more open environment with more unorganised defences in League One is definitely an option. The case against: fitness concerns, inconsistent, lack of press, unclear tactical fit, and the big wages for someone who hasn't hit double figures in the league for a while. Although, no, I thought he had 11 last year. I might be wrong with that, so apologies if that's the case. I think he had 11. Look, it's about consistency. It's a balancing act, right? To Cardiff take the gamble on potentially a lethal League One asset? Or do they move him on, bring some money in, and try and build around a younger, hungrier, more consistent, tactically aligned squad? It is a difficult one, and I'll leave it with you guys, right? Let me know what you think. Is Robbo worth one more season, one more shot, or is it time to shake hands and move on? It's a fascinating one. This has been The Spotlight, episode number 2, Cardiff City World. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you soon for more debate, more conversation, more detailed Bluebirds analysis by fans, for fans. If you can become a member, then please do. That helps us do 7 days a week content on all things Cardiff City. In the meantime, keep the faith, and I'll see you in a bit.